What's up guys, DK here with Collector's Impact, and today we're going to have a nice candid discussion about the state of MetaZoo as it is right now in the middle of September 2021 for anyone who's watching in the future. But yes, for right now, I'm going to call this the calm before the storm type of setting when it comes to MetaZoo. So I've actually chosen out two cards to represent this state pretty well and my kind of current thoughts about it. So we've got we've got Power Up Red, because depending on what happens over these next few months, we're going to definitely hit some Power Up Red and things could get really insane. Or there's the Death Beam. Gotta have your yin and yang kind of thing. So we're going to just go ahead and discuss this. Again, now, I am not a financial advisor or anything like that. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I have a decent amount of experience in the space and whatnot. I used to manage a card shop for the better part of 10 years, and I'm just pretty involved in the space. But yeah, again, not a professional. This is just for entertainment purposes only. A quick look back at what's been going on over the last month or so. We did have the official first edition release here of Cryptid Nation with a production run of 25,000 boxes for this product. And God only knows how many actually sold and have been opened and all that kind of stuff. It will be really interesting to see that data as we get more and more to come out. But I do know 25,000 were made, and I would estimate at least half of them have been opened. But again, that's a total estimate on my part. I don't have data to back this up other than just the flurry of videos and or the market flood of singles themselves. It came out of the gate pretty blazing hot. After the retail lot was purchased up from like Channel Fireball and the like, the boxes pretty much immediately jumped up to 500. Some even exceeded 6 and got to like 700 before retracing down to that 500 round. And as of right now, they're somewhere between 400 and 500. That's kind of, they've been consolidating here this past month pretty much. The single cards, they also started out with a nice increase, that's for sure, and now they've kind of gone down and they're tapering off right in the middle of their highs. So I wish the box would have been, you know, kind of in the middle of their highs, because that would put it around 350 or so. But I think that a lot of people kind of wish that, because it would be nice to get a couple more. You know, the price point is still a little bit too high for me to go crazy into it. Mostly because I just don't have a lot of extra money to throw into this. I'll just be totally honest about that. And I'm sure that I'm not alone there. You know, we've got priorities in life, bills, little ones. You gotta take care of the priorities before you can buy MetaZoo cards, you know what I mean? Anyway, with that said, I'm sure you guys are well enough aware of what's happened over the last few months. We find ourselves at a point where there's this lull, this calm before the storm. We have, at the end of this month, allegedly, hopefully, supposedly, the Topps set is going to launch. And a little bit of background on the Topps set in case you're unaware, which you're probably not, as it's pretty big news in this space, but I'll just give you a quick, small recap. Topps is going to release set 0, so instead of like, you know, set 1 or whatever, it's starting off at 0, and that is going to entail 1 pack of 30 cards in a booster box, or I guess it's technically not a box. It's kind of like a Black Diamond scenario from Upper Deck or Exquisite or whatever, where they have 1 pack in a box. You open it, it's a fat pack, and boom, that's what you get. And the 30 cards, the set has more than 30 cards, so theoretically if you want to collect the whole set and get them from packs yourself, you have to buy multiple boxes. Now, what I'm not aware of at the moment of filming this video, I don't think that this has been released or whatnot, but the print run of the product and how exactly it's going to be distributed. I know that Topps is going to have it on their website. I'm not sure if MetaZoo is going to have it in the marketplace or if you can buy it in a physical store. I'm going to assume not. I'm going to assume it's pretty much just so you have to be on Topps.com or whatever and buy it from them. That would be my assumption. And that's going to be really fun to see how this plays out. My gut feeling on it is that it's probably going to be a pretty big hit. And I say that based on the pre-orders for Nightfall. As I'm sure you guys are aware of that too, Nightfall's pre-orders became available a couple of days ago, or I guess it's more than a couple, but you know, a few days ago. through Channel Fireball at the retail price of $139.95, and within minutes they were sold out. And they've done a couple of spontaneous restocks of pre-orders, and they're gone within seconds. I don't know if it's bots. I don't know if they're people just hovering over the keyboard or whatever. F5 refreshing, refresh, and then they get it. But I haven't had any luck with it, so I'm a little salty because I would really like to get some for the channel. I would like to get some at retail price and not have to pay, you know, $350, $400, $500, whatever it goes for. But what I can say is they're doubling the print run of first edition Nightfall, so they're going to be twice as available in theory as Cryptid Nation. However, they're shipping them internationally to several different regions of the world, and therefore, if it's the 50,000, which I'm pretty sure it is, it's 50,000 distributed worldwide, it's still going to be pretty scarce in that circumstance. So, yeah, I mean, it's getting ready. You see what I mean about the calm before the storm? It's getting ready to be very, very intense. I think that MetaZoo has a bright few months ahead of it. It's going to be a really, really fun time. And I just kind of came on here just to have a little candid conversation with you guys about this and see how you guys are feeling about it too. I'm pretty excited. I'm trying to get some money set aside so that I can get in at the retail price on some of the boxes. Though with my current luck, I'm starting to lose faith, but I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep trying, keep trying to get in a couple boxes. You know, I want at least a small handful of boxes for my personal collection and to open a couple on the channel as well. My random question for you on that is, if you are able to get boxes, if you have the availability to actually like pre-order, how many are you planning to pre-order? I'm hoping to get some in hand, like I said, for the channel in my collection, because I do think they're going to be hard to get the first edition print run of Nightfall. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention and talk about here is when it comes to the December time frame for MetaZoo. In December is when the second edition printing of the Cryptid Nation comes out. And this is where I'm more concerned and or interested to see how things unfold. I think that short-term free tendies kind of thing for October, assuming that there's, well, I'll get to another topic later. So, yeah, assuming that everything goes smoothly with the launch and everything, October and November should be really fun in this space. It's December that I'm worried about personally, and I want to know how you guys feel about it too. The second edition print run, I don't know if the official number is confirmed, though I did see in an interview that they are planning to do a minimum of 2 times what they did for the first edition for the second edition printing. So that would be 50,000 boxes. The box toppers are going to contain different cards than they did for the first edition print run, which is another interesting thing to think about, both positives and negatives to that. It will not have the red ink card that's limited to 100 that were only available in the box topper in the first edition, but it might have its own version of that, a different type of card that's limited in production. It's going to have the Terra cards instead of the Aura cards as the main things in the box topper. But yeah, the real takeaway is overall the cards, there's going to be double the amount of cards in production at that point, or more for second edition. So you'll technically have 3x the amount of cards in existence for Cryptid Nation from when you combine first and second edition together. So my question and or concern is, there's a couple of them, is what happens to the value of the first edition cards when the second edition cards hit the scene? My big concern comes into play when it comes into the demographic for the game. And what I mean by that is, based on data that I've seen up to this point, and there's not any hard data, so this is still very preliminary kind of data, but at this point in the game's life, which is it's really new, just to reiterate that, but at this point, there's 80% of the people that buy it are buying it purely to collect it, and the other, 20% are interested in playing the game as well. Obviously, everyone's collecting it, so that's 100%, but there are 80% of the population just wants the cards. They don't really care about the game that much. And to be totally honest, I'm kind of in that camp right now. I do like the game. I like games in general. But this game in particular hasn't really hooked me yet. I'm not totally in love with the game engine. I'm not in love with the trap mechanics. There are certain things in the game that kind of, they're just not my favorite, and that's okay. That's totally acceptable. There's plenty of card games that I've played and collected over the years that weren't my favorite in terms of the game engine. So, like I was saying, there's 80% of the people want it for the cards. So my big concern is when there's more cards on the market, such as Babe the Blue Ox here, or the Mothman, or the Bigfoot, or this little frog guy, when there's 3x the availability that there is now, is it going to matter too much if it has the first or second edition stamp on it? Which leads me into the notion of a first edition and second edition set. That's really kind of unique. I'm personally really interested to see what happens when a second edition launches versus an unlimited. First editions historically have been where the money is. That's where the collectability is because it's the first print run. I don't think that that's going to be necessarily different in terms of that concept, but I do think that having the second edition it has the potential to dampen the effect of the first edition on the overall collectability of the card. But that is dependent on quite a few factors. One is, are the cards going to look the exact same, 100% the same, except one's going to say first edition and the other's going to say second edition, where the first edition stamp is on the original. And if that's the case, my gut is kind of telling me that there's going to be quite a pullback in the value, at least up front, at the initial launch of that set and into the following months after the second edition is available for Cryptid Nation. I think there will likely be a pullback, especially in the single prices for the first edition cards. Unless it's a big hitter like Mothman or something like that, that's, you know, a really desired collectible staple kind of a chase card. Other than that, the majority of the cards, my gut is telling me they're going to go down and then consolidate. However, the sealed product might stay the same. It might have a small retracement with the prices of the singles, or it could be like the dang Kickstarter thing and go through the moon. That's why I brought out these two cards. To tell you the truth, I just don't know what's going to happen to the sealed product at that point. It's going to be very fascinating to witness it, as it's a pretty unique event in trading card game history, I'll tell you the truth. This whole thing is a really unique event. I'm having a blast with it because of what a unique event it is. It's, you know, it's not something that you see every day, that's for sure. So this has been really fun. Either way, I just wanted to throw these ideas and concepts out there for you guys and see what you have to say about it. How do you feel about the second edition versus unlimited? Do you know what I mean? Like, traditionally, an unlimited set comes out, and there's so much more of that one produced that the first edition cards retain an exponentially higher value in comparison to their unlimited counterpart because there's so much more limited availability for the first edition. But it sounds like, essentially, there's going to be still a limited availability for the second edition, with the intent of keeping the prices high, would be my assumption. It probably has the intent of keeping the collectability value high, but in terms of the ratios and percentages of the total population of the cards that are out there, it might counterintuitively have an opposite effect. That's really, in a nutshell, what I just said and kind of wanted to bring home. That's kind of my thinking right now around this kind of stuff. So on that topic, do you agree, disagree? How do you feel? Are you ready for the sets that are coming out? The Nightfall set, the Cryptid Nation 2nd edition, and of course the top set, which I'm stoked about. I really hope to get my hands on some of that. I will gladly open some on the channel, and I'm just really looking forward to the whole Topps thing, as I was a huge fan of the Topps Pokemon cards too. And then the one last point that I wanted to make, which is what I was kind of going to mention earlier, but it was a little off topic, so I'll mention it now, is that overall, I think that MetaZoo is doing excellent, and I think that there's a bright future ahead of it for the next few months into the next year, unless there's some damn external force that comes into play. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually a little bit concerned about it. And what I mean by that is, if there's like an economic downturn, if there's resistance to certain things that are going on, which, you know, there's a lot of things are boiling on the stove right now, and the pot could boil over at any minute, and it is actually kind of a concern of mine, because at the end of the day, when it comes to the collectibles market, if something crazy happens, if it's crazy like a pineapple, you know what I mean? If something insane happens from left field, collectibles are going to be the last thing on people's minds. And the prices will probably reflect that. I know that some use it as a hedge against inflation. I'm included in that, honestly, when it comes to certain types of collectibles. I like to have them as a nice hedge and a diversification in the portfolio kind of a thing. But depending on how insane the environment around us gets, there could be ramifications that are kind of hard to predict when it comes to MetaZoo and other collectibles and card games. And I just wanted to throw that out there because it looks like our Q4 here is ramping up to be a bit freaking crazy. Hopefully it's not going to be. Hopefully everything will be peachy keen and things calm down and things get settled, but they might not be. So just throwing that out there as a final thought, and feel free to share your comments on that as well, because it's kind of got my mind a little, it's got the gears turning, you know what I mean? Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's discussion. It was a bit all over the place, but as fans of MetaZoo, I'm sure that we love topics all over the place when it comes to this lovely product here. So anyway, I definitely hope to see you guys again soon. And when the Topps product comes out, if I can get it, definitely come back, because I will have it featured on the channel, and we'll check out those cards in great detail and see what it's all about. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for coming by and checking out this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you don't mind, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithms and stuff. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely please subscribe to this channel, as I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark if possible. We don't just cover MetaZoo. We do other trading card games and collectibles and grading tips and tricks and all kinds of stuff. It's just a good time over here, kind of like this nice casual approach to the whole thing, but with knowledge as well. With me, it's not super crazy flashy, except when I put up the dancing cats when I get like a really nice hit in a pack or something. Anyway, thank you very much again for coming by and checking out this video, and I hope to see you again next time. Take care.